Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, proud to support the mission of KPBS and privileged to serve San Diego clients. Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, helping homeowners maintain drain, heating, and cooling systems since 1978. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Good evening. It's Friday, May 14th. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Carroll in for Maya Trabulsi. Cell phone video of a homeless man being beaten by San Diego police officers has led to calls once again for reform within the police department. KPBS reporter Max Rivlin-Nadler says reform advocates want more information released about the incident. And just a warning, this story contains graphic footage of the arrest.
The cell phone video shows two SDPD officers tackling and punching a homeless man in La Jolla, who said during a press conference on Friday morning that he was simply trying to find a place to pee. Jesse Evans then spent the next 2 days in jail.
Whose streets? Our streets!
Critics of the police department's handling of homeless people, especially black members of the unhoused community, spoke out at the site of the arrest.
One of the things that we call for is that when individuals are encountered, we want procedural justice to be implemented, which means that you do treat them with dignity and respect. You do give them a voice during the encounter. And also what we're asking for today, we want the police, they should be neutral and transparent in their decision making.
They're calling for a full release of body camera footage, not edited by the police department, as well as the original dispatch call that brought officers to the area. They're also looking for the city to expand public restrooms.
But I'm calling on the mayor and the city of San Diego, the city council, to expand public bathrooms across the city and employ security on them. Because using the bathroom is a right, not a privilege.
Yosemite Caputi and Tiara Nurashad are students at UCSD. They live near campus and pass Evans each day on their way to campus.
All the students were really shocked to see him in such a violent situation where we're used to having him be just like a really calm person, like Tiara said, reading a book at the bus stop by our house or walking around the beach. You know, he's a citizen, he's a community member.
The San Diego Police Department has not yet responded to a request for comment. Max Rivlin-Nadler, KPBS News.
The California mask mandate remains in place, even though new CDC guidance says fully vaccinated people no longer have to wear a face covering in most situations. KPBS reporter Alexandra Rangel has more about what this means for San Diegans.
A step in the right direction for some.
Yeah, it'd be much nicer to not have to wear a mask indoors as well. But I understand, that's a process that's going to take time.
Austin Scott, an active gym member, says working out with a mask isn't an easy feat. And with an increase of people now inoculated, he believes the CDC is making the right move.
But I do know we need to return to normalcy eventually. So yeah, definitely support taking the masks off.
The CDC says fully vaccinated people can ditch the mask and resume all indoor and outdoor activities. They also say social distancing isn't needed for the fully vaccinated. The new guidance conflicts with California's state mandate. Just this week, Governor Gavin Newsom announced the masking mandate would remain in place until June 15. The California Department of Public Health says they're reviewing the CDC's recommendations, but the state's mandate takes precedence. And while some people can't wait to get rid of their mask collection, Isamara Duran says she's masking up regardless.
I think it's too soon. I think they have to still wear the mask. Because even though if you have already the vaccine, you still have to wear the mask. Because you could get the coronavirus still.
Tiffany Nguyen, a nail tech at Highland Nails in National City, says her nail salon isn't relaxing safety protocols anytime soon.
We need everyone come my shop, wear the mask, and we wear the mask too. And we have the cover right here, protect for both them.
Nguyen says no mask, no service. However, Trader Joe's, Walmart, and Costco are the latest to ease masking requirements for locations where there are no state or masking mandates. San Diego County says they're waiting for the state health department's guidance before making any decisions. Alexandra Rangel, KPBS News.
Governor Newsom laid out his budget proposal to state lawmakers today. The $268 billion California Comeback Plan includes giving 11 million people direct payments of up to $1,100, as well as paying for all 4-year-olds to go to pre-kindergarten for free. Some other proposals include $1.5 billion for small businesses hurt by the pandemic, $20 billion to transform public schools into gateways for opportunity, $12 billion for homelessness, and just over $5 billion for drought and water infrastructure.
This is an historic, transformational budget. This is not a budget that plays small ball. We're not playing in the margins. We're not trying to fail more efficiently. We're trying to do things the state has talked about but never been able to accomplish because we never had the resources to do it.
The budget proposal is 1/3 larger than the state's current spending plan, thanks to a $76 billion surplus from surging state tax revenues and federal stimulus money. The Navy is looking to build some 10,000 apartments on its 70-acre facility in San Diego's Midway District. KPBS Metro reporter Andrew Bowen says the project would also include a new transit center.
This is currently the home of the Navy's cybersecurity operations, an outdated warehouse from the 1940s. The Navy has been considering redeveloping this land for several years. Friday, it announced its preferred option, a row of high-rise buildings with dense housing, office space, and hotels. Revenue from that private development would fund a new cybersecurity headquarters for the Navy. And the Regional Transportation Agency, SANDAG, would be able to fulfill its goal of building a San Diego Grand Central with a rail connection to the airport.
This is an incredible opportunity for the Navy and the community to work together to not only provide SANDAG the modernized state-of-the-art facility that it needs, but also do something positive for the city of San Diego.
A draft environmental study also released Friday estimates the project would cause more congestion in the area. But Colin Parent of the nonprofit Circulate San Diego says the site's proximity to public transit and downtown still make it a better place for new housing than more suburban sprawl.
We can and should look to using public transit, active transportation as a way to limit the number of car trips and reduce the number of car trips in big projects like this, and that's something that that's part of what's the plan. But we should take a closer look to see how we can do more of that.
The public has 60 days to comment on the Navy's proposal, which does not need approval from the city of San Diego. 2 virtual town halls are planned for next month. Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.
First for San Diego County, Sheriff's Department detectives say they've solved a murder case that went cold nearly 18 years ago, all thanks to genetic genealogy. On October 5, 2003, deputies found a pair of women's legs in a dumpster in Rancho San Diego. Detectives couldn't get anywhere with the case, but now they've been able to solve the murder of Lori Diane Potter. Homicide detectives searched commercial ancestry sites like Ancestry.com, then called family members of the victim.
One of your relatives is a victim of a homicide. I noticed that you're in Ancestry, or I will send you an Ancestry kit, and I need 100% consent from you. Will you participate?
Detectives got full participation from everyone they contacted. That led to the arrest of Potter's husband at the time, Jack Potter, on May 12th in Rancho Cucamonga. The investigation is still ongoing. San Diego-based Sempra Energy took fire from the inside and outside as the Fortune 500 company's shareholders met today. KPBS environment reporter Eric Anderson was there.
Protesters rallied on the sidewalk outside the Sempra Energy building in downtown just as the San Diego company's shareholders were holding their annual meeting. Brenda Garcia Millan says Sempra makes millions of dollars a day from a product that is poisoning the planet.
They don't want to transition to clean energy. They keep investing in fossil fuels, dirty energy, and that is really damaging for our communities. And they basically keep us from accessing clean energy.
Speakers at the event called out the company for ignoring climate science while pushing for the use of more fossil fuels, not less.
Addressing climate injustice requires us to really take a look at the truth.
Sonia Robinson works with the Protect Our Communities Foundation. She says brown and black communities suffer the most when big companies like Sempra ignore the science of climate change.
We need to really embrace our rights. It is our constitutional right to be free from fossil fuel.
KPBS reached out to Sempra for comment, but the calls were not returned. At the virtual company meeting, 37% of shareholders backed a proposal to align the company with goals set forth in the Paris Climate Accord. Company officials urged shareholders to vote no.
Activists hope that by pushing Sempra, they'll be able to change the company's practices. Eric Anderson, KPBS News.
San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria announced a tentative agreement today with San Diego Gas and Electric to provide energy services to the city. It includes an initial term of 10 years with the potential for a 10-year renewal. The franchise agreement would provide nearly $3 billion in revenue over the full 20 years. Highlights include $20 million to advance the city's climate equity goals and $10 million in solar energy rebates in underserved neighborhoods. The City Council is expected to vote on the agreement on May 25th. The Sweetwater Union High School District is making COVID-19 vaccines available to all students 12 and older. Clinics will be held next week at Montgomery, Southwest, and San Isidro High Schools in collaboration with UCSD Health. Sign-ups are available online at sweetwaterschools.org, along with parental consent forms and a reminder to bring a student or California ID card. If you want to set up a vaccination appointment for yourself or an eligible family member, you can find a location close to you at kpbs.org. Just click the Vaccines link on our homepage. This year of distance learning has been tough on all students, and though academic loss might be front of mind for parents and teachers, test scores are only part of the picture. KPBS education reporter Joe Hong shows us how art and music can help students recover from the pandemic school year.
For Barbara Leroy, one silver lining of teaching at home through the pandemic was having the chance to play her ukulele to keep students engaged during distance learning. And last month, when she went back to part-time in-person teaching at Joseph Casillas Elementary in the Chula Vista Elementary School District, the ukulele came with her. Now it's helping her students readapt to the classroom.
If a child has had a tough morning, maybe that music can just kind of get them out of their head and out of that situation.
Leroy said it's not just the students who benefit from the sing-alongs.
There's just been kind of a lot of anxiety with being kind of on the camera and then now on in person. And when I play music and when I just kind of get out of my own head and out of my own anxious feelings, and just centers me, so helps me to calm down.
And while educators have worried about learning loss and students falling behind, experts say that emphasizing academic recovery might just create more anxiety for students. Alix Gallagher is the Director of Strategic Partnerships for a think tank called Policy Analysis for California Education. She said emphasizing arts in the classroom can serve as an antidote to this anxiety as students return to campuses.
We have to understand when kids come back to school, having been away, they're bringing not only potentially more varied academic challenges, but they've also had a wide range of emotional experiences, and their socio-emotional wellness definitely needs to be addressed.
For both Gallagher and Leroy, it's about helping students rediscover a love of being at school.
Things like the arts, band, visual arts, dance, sports, those activities that are kind of more often off to the side are actually places where students can bring their whole selves and find meaning and develop the relationships and connectivity to school that help them get through school and ultimately thrive as well-rounded human beings.
Bonnie Hunt, a first-grade teacher at Casillas Elementary, said the social aspect of the arts also helps students as they emerge from a year in isolation.
I had a few students that were very isolated, had a lot of anxiety coming back into the classroom, and being able to draw and do art, which is kind of an independent thing, kind of brought them out of their shell.
But academics and the arts aren't completely separate. Hunt students spent the last week learning about the bugs and insects that pollinate flowers or aerate the soil.
I'm drawing like butterflies and things and animals that are pollinators.
They used paint markers to decorate the school garden. Hunt says this helps students gain confidence while learning the material.
They take ownership of it, and it takes what they're learning from a book and it makes it real. And when they can transfer what they've seen in the book or learned in the book and create their own, then you can really say they've learned it.
Hunt is retiring this year, but she hopes the new normal does not include the same hyper-focus on standardized tests. She's rooting for beauty and self-expression to make a comeback.
Whether it's creating something that makes them feel good about themselves or something they've created that they're proud of or something that they've created that takes their sadness away, then that's the most important thing about the classroom, not whether or not they can bubble in. Bubbling in is an art.
Joe Hong, KPBS News.
A local foundation is finding creative ways to help preserve the city's namesake river. KPBS reporter Melissa May went down to the river for the San Diego River Days cleanup event.
The San Diego River Valley runs 52 miles from Ocean Beach all the way up to Julian. About 1 million pounds of trash are collected each year. As part of the 18th annual San Diego River Days, the San Diego River Foundation, with about 30 volunteers, will collect about 1,800 pounds of trash today. And they'll be using an app to do it.
Then this is us here. The River Park Foundation collects all of our trash data through a map that we've developed that's a smartphone-powered mapping device. And all of our teams go out, they go out 4 days a week now to collect all that information.
Sarah Hutmacher, the Chief Associate Director of the San Diego River Park Foundation, uses this data-informed approach to efficiently manage all the land. And
it helps us be really precise with where we use our volunteers. So we send the right tools for the job. We know whether we're supposed to send, Marines or Girl Scouts to come do the work so that we have the right crew.
This is the foundation's first event with community volunteers since the pandemic started.
We're so jazzed to be able to bring the community back to these cleanups.
Volunteer Linda Harshberger has been with the foundation for almost 20 years.
Oh my gosh, I'm outside with people. It's an amazing experience.
Volunteers work year-round cleaning up various parts of the river valley, but events like San Diego River Days are especially important.
It's important to feel a part of your community. It's important to know what's happening in your community.
What we really try to do is get people together to be the voice for the river so that it just has a lot of people that are advocating for its success and longevity so that it can continue to do what it does for all the people in San Diego.
There are free activities continuing through this weekend. People can go to sdriverdays.org to sign up. Melissa May, KPBS News.
The big story this weekend will be the upper level low moving into the interior southwest. As it does so, there'll be a couple changes. First off, you'll notice a deeper marine layer as we head through this weekend, plus cooler temperatures associated with that and some gusty winds in a few spots. Tonight, we are looking at more of the same, I think, as we go through this evening. And notice our numbers coming back down into the lower 60s in San Diego. Oceanside hitting 59. Clouds working their way in with that marine layer, more or less similar to what we've seen the past couple of nights. May gray, as we like to call it. It starts off our days here, and we will see that thick layer heading into tomorrow morning. Once we get into the afternoon, things will back off with that marine layer, but we're going to struggle to do that more and more each day through the weekend, all because this upper level low is working in. It will mean showers and thunderstorms here to Northern California, and that can mean a wildfire threat because of the lightning associated with those thunderstorms. But I don't think we'll see that activity on the south side of this low pressure system. So that means we will be staying dry, although there could be a few extra clouds at times in some spots. There certainly will be with the marine layer towards the coast. 66 the high in San Diego. We're going to start to hedge our numbers down a little bit as we head through the week and keep that marine layer in a little bit longer. So for tomorrow, I think it's more of the same for us, at least for the start of the day, but that marine layer doesn't go far into tomorrow night. It comes back. Futurecast trying to hint at some drizzle. I don't think that's really going to be too much of a factor, but there could be some underneath the marine layer into Sunday. And Sunday, you see, we never really break out completely of the clouds. That's all because, again, this upper level low is keeping the onshore flow into our area, which is going to keep that cloud cover a bit more present for us. That's why we have some extra clouds, maybe a little bit of mist or drizzle through Sunday morning. Overall, though, I don't think it's a big trend for us inland. And we're going to keep those low clouds too, and temperatures falling to the mid-60s for the afternoon. Once we get into the mountains for the end of the weekend, lower 50s for your high. And as we venture into the deserts, we'll also have a bit of a cool down. We're going back to the lower 90s, even lower 80s for the end of Sunday. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Melissa Constanzer for KPBS News.
A group of landlords has filed a lawsuit against San Diego County over a temporary ban on most evictions during the pandemic. The Southern California Rental Housing Association is seeking an injunction to prevent the county from implementing or enforcing the ordinance approved by the Board of Supervisors last week. It prevents landlords from evicting tenants unless they are an imminent health or safety threat to other tenants. The ordinance takes effect early next month. Tax day is this coming Monday, the official deadline for individuals to file their 2020 federal tax return. It's a month later than usual because of the pandemic, but don't expect your returns anytime soon. An unusually large backlog of returns from 2019 and 2020 are being processed and are likely to be delayed. The IRS also says it's taking longer to process mailed documents, such as paper tax returns and related correspondence. One of the biggest targets in the national Fight for 15 movement is relenting. McDonald's says it will give some of its workers a boost in pay. SDSU's Miro Kopik has more in the Friday Business Report.
McDonald's is increasing their wages 10% to at the shift manager level to about $13 an hour and committing to get to $20 to $15 an hour by 2024. And they're only going to do this, though, by the way, in their corporately owned stores. So about 650 stores nationally, and McDonald's has 14,000 franchisees in the United States. So what happens here is that these corporate stores are run just like any franchise store, and if the corporate stores can make that wage structure work, it will allow the franchise locations to increase wages. But it's an important choice because at this stage, all of industry is moving, especially hospitality, restaurants are moving the goalposts to a more living wage so that workers can actually raise their families with what's being paid.
The Padres are returning to Petco Park for a 9-game homestand. Tonight, they're taking on the St. Louis Cardinals without some of their star players. Fernando Tatis Jr. and Will Myers tested positive this week during a road trip in Colorado. They'll be in quarantine for another week or so, along with 3 other teammates, and all of that is due to contact tracing. Management would not say if any of the players were vaccinated. The Padres aren't the only team dealing with COVID cases. 8 New York Yankees players and staff also tested positive this week. Major League Baseball is letting some teams relax COVID-19 protocols. The league now says nearly half of all teams have 85% of their players and coaches vaccinated. Clubs that reach that level are allowed to loosen health and safety protocols. Movie theaters are open again, but the best film available this weekend is only streaming. KPBS cinema junkie Beth Accomando recommends what to see and what to avoid.
Let's start with the good stuff. There Is No Evil serves up 4 thematically linked tales about Iran's death penalty and the servicemen tasked with performing the executions. Each story explores different choices as characters willingly comply, defiantly resist, or are coerced into following orders. Despite pressure from authorities, filmmaker Mohammad Rasulov refuses to back away from questioning his government. What's compelling about his film is that while he's critical of Iran's death penalty, his film has room to be humane and compassionate towards his characters as they grapple with options and then deal with the consequences. There Is No Evil is stunningly cinematic as it contemplates provocative moral questions. Profile is inspired by a real story.
I need something that's going to get people talking now.
I might have something.
In the film version, a British journalist goes undercover to bait and expose a terrorist recruiter through social media. The gimmick of Profile is that it all takes place on the journalist's laptop. I have to give credit to director Timur Bekmambetov for actually making it play out in a compelling and visually engaging manner. Profile hooks you with its fast-paced narrative, but makes no time for the serious issues it peripherally raises.
What is that?
Yep, there is another Saw film, but under the sort of rebooted name of Spiral.
Playmate.
Saw films, like the Final Destination franchise, are all about one thing: clever, gruesome kills. Spiral, which comes in as the 9th film in the Saw franchise, doesn't have enough of them, nor are they very clever. But Chris Rock as an honest cop is great to watch. And if there's a sequel, maybe the copycat Jigsaw will target racist cops for a little social commentary. And now to scrape the bottom of the barrel.
Zombies, shamblers, the undead, whatever you want to call them. When it comes to killing them, it's all about the brain. If one comes at you, shoot it in the brain. It's that simple.
I've already wasted 2.5 hours of my life watching Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, so let me be brief. A zombie has more brains than this film, so please, just avoid it like the plague. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy your evening and do have a great weekend.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, proud to support the mission of KPBS and privileged to serve San Diego clients. Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, helping homeowners maintain drain, heating, and cooling systems since 1978. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following: and by viewers like you. Thank you.